It's time for Tox versus Hitmen. Let's jump right into the action. And already with Frosty, who managed to get the sniper early on here, Dave.
I was just going to say, it's a little hot and humid here in New Orleans, so let's kick it off with Frosty as we go into those AC spots. Dude, I don't care about the booze. I'll keep the dad jokes coming. But yeah, I want to see what he's doing. And oddly enough, it felt like he met zero resistance over on the snipe side. I didn't really see anyone fighting him over there, and that was a bit odd. I mean, almost every single time you want to kind of divide up your forces and push towards both power weapons. But looks like we had Hitmen going for rockets, and they kind of almost gave up on snipe side.
Yeah, it felt like just Tox's plan wasn't even to go after the rockets. They kind of forfeited those as well. They kind of played into that. Granted though, Snakebite still able to get the sniper rifle back in his possession here, and just the shots from him, so good. I mean, this is another player who you talk about the talent, you talk about what he's accomplished, and he is the main reason why a team like Tox are able to score the flag so quickly, because of the strategies and the way that he thinks about the game. It's meticulous.
Yeah, absolutely. One point I want to highlight right there was Demon D's hiding spot after that flag cap. He knew that player was going to cap that flag and didn't have much of a chance of it, of stopping it. But instead, he just hid under the side, like fountain side of that ramp. And that was just brilliant. You saw Frosty had no idea that player was there. Luckily, he had a second teammate near fountain to spot that out, but that's one of Demon D's strong suits here in Halo 5. In Halo in general, it's just knowing how to be sneaky. Sometimes I think to a fault. Sometimes maybe he was a bit too, you'd almost argue, like selfish or something like that, and greedy pushing back.
Nice double kill there from Snakebite. Looking for the triple. There you got it. And looking for another one as well. It's going to get challenged around the corner. And don't even bother. Don't even bother. That's an overkill, and he'll go down. But geez, that is another capture here for Tox. I mean, it is going to have to be an ambitious effort, but no one is in the area. That's going to be number 2 in Tox. Look at this already, Walshy. Already.
Now, this might seem obvious, but one thing you'll notice about Tox is anytime they get a significant lead like that, such as an overkill, they capitalize on it. Now, like, that sounds obvious, but we were watching earlier. We saw Lucid. We saw SLG get that triple kill in yards. Fought a 4th person, got the 4th kill. Essentially an unofficial overkill. And then got killed by the 5th player. It's like, where's this team?
He one-shotted.
Yeah, who we got to one-shot? It's like, so, like I said, it might sound like a very obvious statement saying, wow, look at Tox took advantage of this overkill, but no, they capitalize on that sort of stuff every single time.
That's the thing that separates the good from the great. We know a lot of these teams, how long they've been playing Halo, they're good players. They understand the game at a high level, but when you're able to just fully capitalize on those moments, it reflects on the scoreboard in such a way. It's so impressive. But Tox, though, now things have kind of slowed down a little bit here, as there's going to be some pressure over on the red base, but granted, though, they're kind of just like continuing to navigate. Demon D did manage to get the sniper rifle, so can he put this to work? Unfortunately, he ends up losing out 2 of his teammates, and now that means that Demon D needs to just do what you said before, Dave. Play slide, play sneaky, and just try and keep the sniper.
Yeah. There's absolutely times where you need to sit back a bit, buy time for your teammates to come out, play selfishly. By selfishly, I mean like not just putting yourself way out there, trying to be one that's forcing the objective. Sometimes you just have to capitalize on opponents' mistakes, like Lethal down there in bottom center, who he rips his face off. So great job from Demon D, buying time for his teammates to now push in together.
Oh my goodness! He's looking for another one. He ends up getting stuck, but that is actually going to be a
thrust. Great thrust.
Getting the kill in there, and that is going to be 3 members down right now. Boobadooboo, as well as the crew from the Hitmen, need to make the play happen so they can put the first flag on the board for the blue team. Pressure should be coming from the left side and actually over by the bridge, but I think this is going to be a clean cap. Yes, it is, but now they need to get ready, because Tox is looking for the next round of slays that can give them that 3rd cap.
Yeah, and right there, just Lethal playing that smart, not running that flag out just yet. Knew the sniper was over and towards top bridge, and just forced that player to come out. If you think about it right there, Arctic would have happily just waited over there in that top bridge and waited for that player to come around the corner, but
Arctic
had to
staying alive though was very good in that situation. I mean, he had a player tagging him from behind, and it wasn't all that clean of a getaway for him. And now they're looking to make another flag run happen here. Walshy could get the 2nd one on the board, but they end up losing 2 players. So now it's about time you need to just anticipate this push from Tox and try and hold it off as much as you can while these respawns come in.
Yeah, when that happens from Tox, you have a couple goals. If you can run away and stay alive, absolutely do that. But in most cases, if you're too far pushed up and you're already in a position where they can engage you, you have to just get that trade, get that kill. So we're going to have to see what happens. And what just happened there. So we'll figure out. Looks like one of the players may have dropped right out, and we'll figure out what the ref's ruling is in this scenario.
Yeah, Demon D, it seems, dropped out of the game on that one. But that was shaping up to be a capture for Tox on that one. I mean, you had
Possibly,
you had Frosty with the Rockets. They had 3 down. One player was up, I believe, on Rock side. So there wasn't really a lot of opportunity. They were starting to make moves on that flag, but still, though, we're going to find out what the ref's ruling is on that.
Yeah, we'll figure out a ruling there. But despite that, when I'm taking a look over the slates here on the Prowler, it was a one-sided affair in the favor of Tox. They were outslaying 42-28.
Boy, yeah, just domination. Despite the fact, though, they were able to get that cap in, and they were trying to make that second one work out, but it just, you know, when they lost the 2 players instantly like that, you kind of have to refocus and reposition yourself, because you need to anticipate that once they have numbers, they're going to fly at you.
Yeah, they're going to fly. But I still was incredibly impressed there from Hitmen when they got those couple kills, like Demon D staying alive with that sniper, just buying time over a bridge, and then they all pushed in together. Even though Demon D only got a double, one was an absolute sick snipe, by the way, where he just got that no-scope in the front bridge, but he got double, and they all collapsed in at the exact same time. So that was a surprising amount of teamwork, I would say, from Hitmen for how short they've been together. The fact that they just all pushed at the same time, executing on a team like Tox, and just getting almost even in slays. I mean, they got 3 or 4 kills, they had 2 or so deaths, and they still capped that flag. So that was just a really good indicator for me, because when I look at certain teams, it's like, yeah, when you're absolutely outslaying another squad, it's easy to be scoring the objective. But when you're just going near even in slays for that short period of time with a squad like Tox and still able to cap that flag, that's a great sign.
Yeah, well, we got to see what the ruling is in just a little bit, but welcome, folks, if you're joining us here. This is HCS New Orleans, a quite unique event, although it wasn't so unique back in the day, but now we're starting to get more of these cross-game events. We have Gears of War going on over there, and right here we have some Halo action. If you want to see also the matches that are taking place right now in the feature station, you can head on over to mixer.com/HCS. There you can see, I believe Lucid is playing right now. We'll get an update for you, or you can just go check it out for yourself. For the time being, though, we have Tox, the runner-up from the Halo World Championship 2018, and 2-time Halo World Champion, going up against a newly formed roster of Hitmen. And this familiar faces on this roster, guys such as Boo Boo Doo or Ace, even, you know, Demon D for some of our older fans out there who've been watching since, you know, the H3 days. And then you also have Arctic, and Arctic, a couple good moments in that game. One moment in particular that I really do want to highlight was when he managed to stay alive bottom mid and was able to get that the return on the flag by grass. I mean, it was a simplistic play, but it's just the fact that Tox didn't charge at him is actually kind of shocking.
Yeah, it went from what I thought was a massive mistake, because I thought Lethal did a great job baiting that flag over in the front bridge, and Arctic jumped out, tried to challenge, and really failed, but he did a great job repositioning towards bomb center and caught someone off guard and able to get that return. So yeah, it was it's amazing to see when someone can turn what starts off as a bad scenario or bad play into a great situation.
Yeah, it all, you know, the cards kind of just were stacked against him on there. So Arctic is, without a doubt, I think the biggest question mark for a lot of us, you know, a lot of the casters, analysts, and fans as well. We know the capability of the 3 other members of Hitmen, Ace, Boo Boo Doo Boo, and Demon D. But the question is, can Arctic here on the big stage perform at the capacity that he needs to in order for this team to get a very ambitious victory, if I don't say so myself, against Tox Gaming? If they were able to get the upset win, massive.
Yeah, I just I don't foresee that happening. I mean, seeing how Tox were running during that first game thus far, I mean, I was, like I said, incredibly impressed with the 1 flag cap that they got with those amount of slays, but it felt like Tox, for the most part, was just in control. I mean, it never felt like they had to fight out of their base a bunch and, you know, get out of tricky situations. It just felt like, all right, they would get all the kills, they'd push on over the side of the map, and they would just kind of routinely run that flag on back.
If you're joining us just now, we had a bit of a delay of game. We're waiting to get it sorted, but was told by production in the back that we will be starting the matchup, I believe they said, at 1-0. So Starting at 1-0, I mean, I guess they subtracted the score of the 2-1, and they're just going to continue from that score line.
Okay.
I believe so. But we'll get some more understanding on it as well. If not, you can just yell at Tashi on Twitter. I think that's always a plus. Any opportunity we can take to throw Tashi under the bus.
I mean, no one would ever complain on Twitter.
Yeah, whether I'm on, no one ever complains on Twitter.
No.
This is true. Whether I'm on the desk or I'm in the booth, I got to find a way to throw Tashi under the bus and our producer, Rob. So, you guys can't escape me, no matter what. Yes, so now when we get this game started, some things are going to change, obviously, while the weapons are going to be back in play, so the flow of the game changes. But
see different starts from these players,
and that's what I was going to say. Do you think that we're going to see probably a more emphasis put on the sniper because Frosty just walked in and grabbed it as if it was a bag of chips from the bodega. He just went in, he was like, here's 25 cents, Poppy, I'm out of here. And then he grabbed the chips and then he was gone, right? You can't let him grab the chips.
My bodegas back in the day at Grand Rapids as well.
Do you even have bodegas in Michigan?
How dare you?
Okay. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
For real, what's a bodega though?
It's like a corner store, Dave. It's a. Oh man, but yes. So, are we going to see a change of strategy here? Where are they going to grab their chips?
Oh man, they're gonna, let's see where they're gonna grab their chips is, they're probably gonna switch up a little bit. I was a bit surprised to see how few players from Hitmen they sent over towards Snipe side. Despite even trying to catch someone off guard and be a surprising start, maybe that's what they went for. They're like, all right, we're just gonna overload rocket side and try to catch them off guard, because I mean, they eventually did bring those rockets back towards Snipe side, got a kill or two. And so that part went well for them, but I feel like that's kind of like a one and done sort of play. Like you can't run that start twice. I expect them to at least send one or two over towards Snipe, and so I'm not sure exactly which routes they want to take, because I know even if they do send players there, Frosty's that kind of guy to just still sprint over towards Snipe and grab it, whether there's 0 players there or 2 players there. So we're going to have to see if they have some sort of answer for charging Frosty.
Frosty the type of guy to go get Sniper even if 4 players are looking at it, because he don't care, he don't care. There's Frosty on your screen right now. Players are loading up into the game here, so you're treated to the sultry sounds of myself and Dave Walsh as we break down what we saw in that Coliseum CTF matchup.
I was about to wonder. I was like, I'm not sure if these players can hear us when they put their headphones off, off ear. And my guess is that they can, because as soon as he heard you talking, GB, he put his headphone back on to put the sound canceling back on. So that question was at least answered for me. Words
hurt. I just want you to know that, okay? Words hurt, and I would just feels bad, man. Feels bad. Well, you know what? Since we were talking about Coliseum quite a bit, game number 1, we are going to have Refuge Slayer. That will be game number 2 in this one, and again, I'm excited to see the new additions to the game. Give us something a little bit different to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Finally, one has to wonder: have these teams, have the newer teams, put in a little bit more work on these? On the new additions? I feel like that's just that opportunity to catch someone off guard,
Yeah, I think squads would be foolish not to overload practice in favor of the newer maps. So one thing I would always do, practicing for tournaments and such, would be if a new setting or map came into the rotation, that was always, the first or second game we played in our series when we were scrimming against somebody. In the case or the event that the scrim got cut short, or if we got done with all 11 games and we wanted to run extra ones, that made it back right in the rotation right away. So we always made sure that we got extra of those maps and game types. And yeah, like I said, these teams would be foolish not to do that, because it'd be such a massive advantage, especially on the likes of Echelon and Fisher, to have extra practice in there, to know a couple extra routes, because there are gonna be those maps right now where you can find those back smack spots. You can catch someone off guard with a well-timed push. All those little things are still very viable in here. Most of these teams, I would almost even bet that every team here in the pools and such from the NA side haven't played each other in all the new maps and game types.
Yeah.
So you can catch people off guard. Absolutely.
It's going to be very necessary here in this competition. $250,000 for total prize pool, with a $100,000 first place prize. A lot of money up for grabs here. Now it's time to get into the action. Here we go. Back over to Coliseum CTF. And just a reminder for those of you just joining us, we had a game reset. So the score will be Tox up by 1. And I believe that will be reflected on screen so you guys can keep track with us at home. But it's all about these opening strategies and what
Frosty swaps it up.
There you go. So Frosty flew to the sniper last time, but it says he's going to play bottom mid and then wrap around, but she's sprinting around, and they know that he's going to be coming, but she see him in one shot, tag him.
He's going to run this. He's going to run it. I like this play. One thing you can do in flag games especially is when you get a kill on the other part, on the opposing side of the map, and you're right near that flag grab position, you just grab it and run it right away, because players over on the other side of the map, they aren't ready for it. In most cases, in order to like stop a flag that's pulled, you have to at least move over a little bit, be in somewhat position for it. So when you can get those unexpected flag pulls, it can totally catch the other team off guard. So I like that attempt. And I just also saw from one of our observers, those rockets are still up. It's been 45 seconds. So even though Frosty got that flank over on elbow side, none of his teammates were actually able to make their way up towards top rocket shack and grab that.
Also, I want to see you as Sniper. So Sniper is going to be in the hands of Frosty currently, and they do have the rockets now as well. So full power weapon control, and the blue team completely pinned in the back of the base. They know that rockets are going to be flying through. World 2 with a kill, or with a tag, I should say, on that player. And Frosty not really getting much of an angle at this point in time. Now on the catwalk, just waiting to see if anyone's going to try and cross forward there. But, you know, I would say what looked like it was going to be a surefire push. Oh, my Lord. What looked like it was going to be a surefire push for Tox. Kind of slowed down, but he goes for the triple kill. Frosty just doesn't want to hear it anymore. Go! Get it! Goodness gracious me! He's got another one in the books, looking for his 5th one. He's on a rampage here, folks.
Yes, he is absolutely destroying here with this weapon now. I don't have any advice for those at home on how to hit that other no-scope that he hit over on Rocket side. However, the one over on Snipe side, one thing you'll notice that these players can do is just start to pre-line up or watch for spots where players are going to come out from. So like that back jump over towards pyramid side of Sniper is a very commonly used spot, especially at the highest level play. So it's gonna be the first spot say checks, and happened to be right there, and he happens to have near perfect aim. So it's not like he was just wildly looking at a spot and just randomly happens to like whip a shot over there. It's like he was expecting someone to potentially be there and capitalize on it.
You know what's also insane about that was I was talking about how things kind of slowed down. It looked like Tox weren't going to be able to really do much with that push, and then out of nowhere, a player like Frosty, a game-changing player in Halo 5, just absolutely shuts us up and goes to town. And now they're looking to put in this next flag cap. If they make this cap happen, that's it. It's GG, because they're already up by 1 here.
Yeah, it would absolutely be GG. Now, one small difference I've noticed from Tox that I just noticed that this game / last game is it feels like every single time they pull the flag bridge, they always hug the snipe side of that bridge. They're not just running down the middle of it randomly. They're going down the snipe side so they can cut off any random angles that could be coming from snipe side. And that's where the most of the threats are going to come from. Because if you think about it, if they run over on rocket side, they can expose themselves a bit more towards, you know, snipe, where they're there's more likely, it's more likely that players are going to be there. Whereas like rocket side, you can easily spot if someone's over at top rockets, and you can go towards rocket side of the bridge to avoid that.
Yeah, again, it's just a team that thinks outside of the box in their approach, and it shows in their placings and the success that they have had. Still though, 1 cap left for Tox to get this game 1 win after the reset.
Snipe on the silver still, which is quite odd. I mean, you know, obviously the player who died with that should either know that. The player who killed the sniper should probably be able to call that and know that. So I'm not sure if that weapon was actually even picked up, and I don't believe it's been picked up yet. So a rare blunder here from a couple of these top teams. I'm not sure if that one maybe fell out of the hands and just people lost track of it. It had to have been something quite odd, because clearly these players are usually on top of timing these, or not timing, but keeping track of these weapons and power-ups.
Rockets are up for grabs now, which Lethal does manage to get possession of. It's going to just send both of them off right away. Was taking some shots from the right side as well, but That is going to do it for the Rockets. Ace with the flag as well over by the red cave, anticipating a player on the push-up. That is going to be a return, but still, though, it's about bringing the players back, focusing that attention back over to their base. He just didn't have the help to be able to do anything there.
Yeah, and that's one of the rare times we actually see like flag brought over into the cave. It's one of the most unused locations you would assume once the flag is pulled from the flag carrier, because it just is a long, unnecessary route. I mean, maybe one of the few times you would actually go there is if you have support and there's someone under the base and you're like one shot, so you take that extra little time to like get your shields back. But yeah, that was an interesting engagement and felt like one of the few options Ace had during that 1v1 time. But Royal 2 played out that fight just perfectly, because he realized, all right, I'm just gonna buy time, let my teammates spawn and help me out. So I don't disagree with him jumping on and getting that flag recovery.
And also right there too, Arctic in the back of the base again. No one there. There really is just no opportunity for them to do anything. They just lost 2 members of their team. So at this point, Arctic just in the red base, gets called out. Not really much you could do in that situation. And now you look at Tox that have just pushed up. They've taken control of the blue base. They're forcing them literally in the back of the base here. So this is going to be a very tough defensive hold from Hitmen, and it seems like it's going to be all for naught, because it is Tox with the 3rd and final cap here. Remember, they're already up by 1. With that cap in, that's going to be 2 here. Frosty taking his time. He's going to have to support Walshy. And I like that play, just throwing it back, waiting it out, let Snakebite get control of it here and get that return.
Snakebite won a clutch fight there from the bridge. So yeah, that is game right there. But one part that was a little interesting to me during that last flag run was they got over towards snipe side, and generally after you get through that first part of the maze and you don't have someone already pressuring you, you just jump all the way towards your side maze. So I think Frosty must have been expecting someone just to start grenading that side of the maze. So he actually ended up clambering up towards sniper spawn and help double team that player over on the opposite sniper ramp.
Again, it's this team and the way that they think they always have each other's back. That's what made them so great in the 2016 season. Made them so great, even despite them, not, or in the 2017 season, but even despite them not winning the 2018 World Championship, the teamwork from Tox was always the hallmark of this squadron. But here's a look at the post-game Carnage report. Demon D, not really getting much going. Remember, guys, though, this was not a quote-unquote full game, right? We still kind of had that restart in the middle of the matchup. But regardless, though, that will be Tox taking game number 1.
Yeah, Tox, and it looked a bit even stronger, that one. I mean, they outslayed by about...
that start was amazing. 20
kills, actually, so yeah, it was 52-32 as far as slays go during that last one.
That start from Frosty, the first start, right? Fly straight to the sniper. Okay, cool. Picks it up with no problem whatsoever. Second start that we end up having, Frosty flies underneath Rockets, manages to put pressure on players' blue corner, and then grabs the flag. And already at that point, you have players like, oh crap, like they're already in our base, they already pulled our flag. Like, what the hell, guys? Turn around.
And that's a very uncomfortable position to be in.
That's the carnage he creates.
And it was especially interesting just seeing how Frosty didn't care, just to keep sprinting, because he realized time was the biggest factor there. It didn't matter if that player was one shot and knew Frosty was coming up that fast. It's just Frosty executed quickly, and it worked well. So even though it didn't translate to a cap, it was still a maneuver that when you get that opportunity, you just take it, because he was in perfect position for it. When you're in that on the opposing side of the map, you get a kill near the flag, and you're there unexpected, and their whole team isn't there, or whatever it happens to be, you just start running in direction. And generally the way you came from is a pretty safe call, because guess what? You cleared out that side already.
Yeah.
You can run it back towards rock side.
He knew that there was going to be a player, I believe, challenging from underneath. You saw that preemptive nade that he threw. It just a lot of things, right? Like a lot of little details that you see these players do in their matches, in their games, and it just catches you, really just takes your breath away, because you're like, oh my goodness, like I just never really would have thought about that. But now we get ready for game 2 as we go over to Refuge Slayer, and also a little rec pack for you there. HCS Saints, shout out to the New Orleans Saints, pretty darn good football team. Go to halo.gg, to redeem that right now. Get yourself an awesome platinum rec pack. But yeah, so Walshy, we're going to Refuge Slayer. Let's talk about that. Anything that you're looking for that we didn't potentially see when we casted straight earlier in the day?
Well, one thing I talked about before is the accessibility to the street. how that has changed significantly here in Halo 5 compared to earlier Halos. So I remember watching someone like specifically like Frosty, seeing one of his starts where he'll just go sprint right off the start, go to that rock in front of Snipe side, and then jump on over towards the street. So I actually do want to kick this next one off with Frosty, even though we've done it the last 2 times. I want to kick it off with him again just to see if he does that start. But yeah, these players just getting to street as often as they can when they're on the back foot, and then also just getting up towards Ring 3. Ring 3 is so strong, but yeah, I feel like Refuge is, it's interesting how different that map plays on Slayer versus Flag. I mean, obviously that's going to be across all the game modes and maps as well, but like Refuge is one of those, especially when you get that flank spawn, or if you block spawns on the other side and someone spawns unintendedly behind you in rocks or over in your court, it can just break a setup or break a team, or it can be that absolute free kill that you take advantage of. So we have to see how these teams play it once they get control.
Here we go. Game number 2, Refuge Slayer.
Yep, he does that start that I was talking about right there where he jumps on
right
the
to
street.
Literally what you said you wanted to see him do. Just go over to the street and then right on top of Ring 3.
Yep. But that's the thing is, even though you know something like that's coming, there's not much you can do about it. Like, what counter do they have to somebody making it to street that fast and jumping to Ring 3 that fast? You really don't have great grenade options. You'd have to find some really nerdy nades in order to figure out like how to time that and get that to hit him as he comes up in that position. But you just have to jump up and somehow your shot's faster. And maybe that's another option too, is just boo-boo-doo hit a ridiculous snipe.
Yeah, well, he saw the glint on the screen and it was too little too late as Ring 2. For grabs, Arctic actually has the sniper on the other side, so now Tox, they need to figure out how to break this double sniper setup that Hitmen have managed to gain here, and I say that,
back.
Just get the kill and just bring it back over to your end, it's just as easy.
Yeah, absolutely just as easy. And here we go though, we see Tox get a kill, and then looks like Snakebite pushes on over to the opposite car and helps get other kills on the opposite side, actually picking off that snipe. So that kind of answers my question as to how some of these teams, or especially how Tox are going to play it when they get a slight advantage, because you've seen, you can see different play styles. One play style is you get a kill, you hold your side, and you try to find that spawner, you try to see if anyone else makes a mistake that you get a kill on. The other option is you get that kill or two and you push the remaining members, and Tox decides to push the remaining members.
Sees exactly what he wants. He knows that he wants to get up to Ring 3 because he has that sniper, and he's been taking some faces here, but they have full control of the spawns. And you see Boo Boo even in this situation, right? Just kind of in the courtyard, right? Just looking up because I guess he was expecting a player there to try and challenge out. But even then, he's like, he wasn't ready for that. No,
yeah, he was not ready at all. I mean, at first when we didn't see Boo Boo reacting and firing back, I was like, does Boo Boo have a snipe and is trying to go for a random no-scope in this position? But no, he just had no idea where that was coming from.
Yeah, he was completely just stunned in that moment. The rockets have been picked up by Hitmen, but you see those snipes continue to rain on through. More nades as well from Ring 3, and Demon D's looking for where this player could possibly be. Just shoot a rocket, find something, which is going to give him that kill onto Frosty there, but now it will be even split as far as kills concerned. So the spawns having to come up. Ace now with control of Ring 2 after that kill with the rocket. Finds another in front of him. It's going to be Frosty, but Frosty with the assistance on that one from Lethal gets the kill, and Boo Boo Doo Boo resetting with the snipe, just trying to play his HUD.
Yeah, one bullet, but there's really not much of a need to move up too much further if he decides to be his sniper again for this next round. If he's okay with one of the other teammates grabbing it, then absolutely push on up with that bullet, try to get some presence up in Ring 3 and help that out. But it looks like Boo Boo actually is now going to revert back over towards his base and try to grab that. Nope, going to go in the hands of Arctic, so that could be the play.
Look at that push.
But
look, just as new sniper comes up, and they just gave it up again. So now Hitmen are going to have to figure out how to break this.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake from Hitmen's side, not just because we can see the execution that happened afterwards, but if their goal is to hold their side snipe and get that sniper and make some work with that one, then you need to either be getting towards Ring 3, you need to get some stronger presence over on Snipe side of the map. Instead, it felt like Boo Boo was kind of out of the play. He was over in shotgun side. Arctic was kind of hiding back, just ran the Snipe spawn, and players were able to push a little bit further across that bridge and get closer before I had a chance to engage them. So it just felt like they were both kind of hidden back out. And do you happen to know what the call on that spot is?
I knew you were going to do it.
Do you know?
I knew you were going to do it.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know either. It says Blue Nook there, so that's what I'm going to call it, the Blue Nook. I'm going to go by what the game tells me to do and not what you know, the community decides that call out to be. Okay, Walshy. Okay, but yes, it's the Walshy. You know, I actually, you know, genuinely curious, you know, for some of our fans at home, like, you know, what is the story around that?
I'm just an annoying player when it comes to that position. You know, you already know I'm annoying, GB.
I already know you're annoying.
You already know that part, but in that position, it's just countless times, especially in Halo 2, people didn't realize how important, like, grenade reservations are, or how to, like, perfectly hit the grenade. And so certain times like that, I make people hit the grenade. I hide in that spot, and in order for them to kill me, they either have to hit the perfect grenade or hit 2 grenades, or they have to jump out, which happens multiple times. And people jump out and chase that location and give up a death and die, you know, die before they're able to kill that one-shot person. So generally, if you get there one shot, your opponent doesn't have a grenade, you can live.
And while we were in story time with Walshy, Hitmen managed to bring it back within 3. World 2, though, with the sniper again, only has 2 bullets in the chamber, though, that he's going to really work with on this one. No sniper on the other side for Hitmen as the action is kind of slowed down a little bit. 3 kills separate these 2 teams. Currently, Hitmen trying to keep this one as competitive as possible, looking to just get control of ring 2, but if they poke out, that could be a guaranteed kill for World 2, just like that. Finds the shot onto Boo Boo Doo. That's going to put them back up to 5, and now the push starts. They can start to stagger these respawns and really begin to be a nuisance.
I like this play, though, from Royal 2. I like that he pushed it over to the side. I don't know if I agree with him flanking on through, but it looks like he knows how to catch Demon D off guard and gets a 1-for-1 trade. So I guess that didn't work out so badly. Generally, if you are pushing towards the opposing side of the map and you're doing it with your team and trying to get some sort of full collapse or choke on the team, you want to be up in that snipe side. You want to have those angles because you are in this strong, elevated position where you can lay down shots, stay alive, and avoid grenades. Whereas once you're going under snipes, or once you're going in shotgun tunnel, once you're going under that turret, you're committed to the flank route.
New power weapons are going to be up for grabs here. 4 kills separate these 2 teams currently. 2 now, and this is the opportunity, right? Small chances that Hitmen can take advantage of here. They have ring 2, they have the rockets, they have their sniper as well. They just need, Boo Boo Doo Boo needs to hit these. He needs to hit these shots. If he's able to do so, that brings him within spitting distance in this game. Also, those rockets played a factor, but I think both, that's the second rocket, so that's going to be the kill there onto World 2. 1 kill now. 1 kill game on Refuge. This was not looking good for Hitmen at the start of the game. But now Hitmen have an opportunity, have a chance to take a crucial matchup in group play against the runner-up for the Halo World Championship 2018.
Yeah, this is anyone's game at this point, but one part that's a bit surprising to me is how Boo Boo Doo Boo was up in ring 3, and I'm not sure if he deliberately fell from ring 3 and backed up to try to help a team or try to get a kill over on that side.
Been ineffective.
But yeah, I felt like Hitman kind of gave up a bit too much position right there. Like I said, Boo Boo had 1 death on his team side, and he decided to back down completely from ring 3, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. We're gonna have to see if it comes back to fight him though.
This is dangerous. Boo Boo Doo Boo is going to be trapped in his hut. Low shields, which he gets back now, and 4 kills. And right when you see that opportunity, when you think you have the moment to come back in this game, Tox still managed to remain in control. That is one of the more impressive things about this team. 47 kills now, 3 more remaining to end this one, wrap it up. Best opportunity that Hitmen have had so far was around that 40 kill mark. They just got to get these shots going. They can't sacrifice any deaths right now. These rockets are going to be so important, Walshy.
Yeah, they're coming up in 5 seconds, but Frosty's going to pick up that 1 kill. Now this puts Hitmen in a really tough position because they only have 1 death to give up, and it's over, just like that.
They were stacked up in ring 2. The rockets are coming up. Tox knew that that was what Hitmen needed, and they just played right into their hand. And there you have it. Tox up 2-0 here in this series. And I just feel like there were so many times where Hitmen had that moment. You got to go back to that time that Boo Boo Doo Boo had snipe in ring 3 and just really didn't do anything with it. Had to bring it all the way back to his hut.
And that happened twice, if you think about it. Not that exact play, but one time where he had 1 bullet, he backs down a little bit, runs all the way back towards the shotgun tunnel, is rendered ineffective for a good 7 to 10 seconds, and his team not only does he die, but his team also loses that upcoming snipe. Arctic lost that one. I believe they eventually reacquired it, or they acquired the opposite sniper. But whole point being is it felt like so many times they'd be in semi-strong power positions, or they would either fall or just give up the power positions a little too early. Whereas when we'd see Tox over in ringside, they would have 2 or 3 members there, and they wouldn't just back down. Or even when someone would back down, you saw Frosty back down the snipe and went right back up the snipe ramp and got back in a elevated position to try to lay down shots across the map. Or he pushed up a little bit to get closer to rocks and then push up. So it always felt like they would wisely back off in a time where they would start to be threatened, but they were still kind of in the fight.
Yeah, it's just a rough going there for Hitmen, who have dropped now 2 in a row. Game 3 coming up in just a second will be Strongholds Plaza. Again, a familiar map here.
One thing I didn't see before is I just saw 3 members on that picture there for Hitman, and now I see the 4th picture with Boo Boo Doo Boo.
Yeah, Boo Boo Doo Boo looking to open up his next boy band, album. You know, Boo Boo and the Doo Boos. Bye bye. No, hi hi hi. There you go. That's that. You got dad jokes, I got dad jokes too. Oh man, we got some tweets as well. Lord Revan, big fan of Darth Revan. 104. The top-down view, the middle of the map is amazing. Please keep doing that every couple rocket spawns. That is a credit to Wonder Boy and his bow tie, and then also Richie Hines.
Yeah, our fabulous observers. So they've been doing a great job back in the truck. And then also we got Nighty controlling the Bravo stream at the moment.
Right.
So he's been doing a killer job over there.
Yeah, and I was told we had another tweet. I was hoping it was a tweet just praising me. No, never mind. Never mind. It was not a tweet praising. It was a tweet praising his guy. I don't know who, F.I. Jared or for Jared.
Oh, dude, for Jared, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Dude, you take it easy.
I hate you, Walshy. Why? But he's absolutely hyped, my guy.
Yeah, he's talking about me, dude.
Are you the guy?
I'm the guy.
You're the guy?
Seriously, check on Twitter. We both follow each other. We talk all the time.
Is that true?
Absolutely not.
Okay, because I was going to say, I'm going to go on Twitter, and I'm going to look at for Jared's follow list and go through. Or his followers. And I'm going to see. Now I think for Jared needs to get followed by Walshy. That's what I think.
We can make that happen.
All right, well, guys, if you're just joining us here, Tox, your runner-up for the Halo World Championship 2018 and 2-time Halo World Champion, are currently up in this series 2-0 against the newly formed Hitmen roster. Hitmen had an opportunity in game number 2 to come back and potentially make this into a 1-1 series, but it slipped away, and it was Tox who, once again, just when you think that they gave up control, they managed to make it happen, and they get that win. So now we set our sights onto game 3, which will be Strongholds Plaza. As I said before, a familiar map, familiar territory for all of these players. So now it's just going to come down to the teamwork, the coordination, and most importantly, not getting trip capped.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a little rough here for Hitman, though, because Plaza Strongholds, unless the individuals in Hitman are, win their fights, creating chaotic situations, this is a very comfortable game type here for Tox. If you think about almost all the older game types, Tox theoretically are better at. They just have so much more practice on, so many more strats, so many things they've worked on. And it kind of shows in the scorelines thus far. I mean, if you consider the flag game being, 3-1 or 4-1 technically when we look at the cap differential between that and the replay. And that was on an older map, something that they're comfortable with, something they played a bunch. Refuge, new map, new in Halo 5. Scoreline, only 5 kill difference.
Yeah.
Super close, could have gone either way. So if we're looking at old versus new, I'm just gonna kind of play up that theme and think that this is gonna be Tox's game in a dominating fashion.
Very true, but we also want to let everyone know that over at the Bravo station, on the feature station, Lucid, the European team, is currently tied against Splice, the Halo World Championship winner, 1-1 as of right now, and gotta actually take a look here.
Gotta find out. They took a game off, or is this like the start of the Slayer game? What are we talking here, GB?
Yeah. So it was 1-1, and with that win, I believe Lucid won the Slayer on Refuge, because that is the 1 seed versus. No, actually, Spice. Are they? Oh, they're the 3 seed.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. So they won
Truth
Slayer. So that is the 2nd seed versus the 3rd seed. So that was Truth Slayer that went to. I would have said in that instance, oh yeah, it makes sense that they would lose a Refuge Slayer, but no, they lost Truth Slayer, which is interesting stuff there. But now it's time to jump into game number 3 as we get ready for this matchup. Will Tox end it right here, 3-0? Let's jump right into the action, Walshy. And we got Demon D on your screen.
Yeah, throwing a couple grenades over towards that glass and somehow gets melted as he goes towards top gold. That's a bit surprising. Ace trying to get that finish, and he does get a snake bite, which is okay. That kind of negates camo. That's out of the game right now, so we'll keep an eye for that next camo around like the 949 mark.
A very valuable pick on that camo. Teammate's going to be able to clean out the kill onto lethal. And look at that support coming in. Snakebite manages to get the triple kill on that one and stops that nest play completely. 3 members looking at the nest, and Snakebite manages to make the play happen. It does not allow them to get control.
Yeah, but despite getting that trip kill, I mean, I said this before, I'm like, oh, anytime you see a member of Tox get a multiple kills, they always capitalize and close it out. That nest still uncapped to this moment.
You have to think about a lot that was invested, though,
that's
by
true.
Hitmen in that play.
It was more so a comeback play because he had a couple members that fell early, so that's a very fair point. It's not like he just got a fresh trip and got a significant lead for his squad.
Exactly, because now it looks like they're poised to be able to take the nest here, and that is going to put points on the board for Tox. And we went an entire minute without points, so that should kind of tell us what we're going to see in this series potentially. If Hitman can keep the tempo going like this, right? That's going to be the most important and the most telling thing. But now Tox starting to collapse, shotgun in hand, shotty to the body onto Boo Boo Doo Boo. And they just are, at this point in time, I think they're okay just letting Hitmen try and figure it out. They don't seem like they want to, or I should say at the moment, they didn't seem like they were trying to force, excuse me, that trip cap.
Yeah, I think one is they're just trying to capitalize on mistakes. They're first off looking towards Yard to say, hey, they're most likely just going to kind of let bottom mid go and charge towards Yard. But players kept kind of charging out and giving up some free kills. So they just kept taking those free kills. They didn't want to give up their full position yet, because one thing that can be scary when trying to recap bottom mid is if that other team commits and goes towards bottom mid, they can have that height advantage. They can get those kills. So I think that was maybe one of their scares. But yeah, they were still putting points on the board and just wanted to allow Hitmen to make some mistakes. And they felt like they couldn't keep the control that they needed by putting 1 or 2 players in bottom center. So they felt like, hey, we'd rather keep control than hope that we can somehow get bottom mid and then go back and get control.
Camo picked up by Boo Boo Doo Boo, able to stay alive. Does he have a teammate there for support? He has to get and hide because the shields would have revealed his position there, and he's able to stay alive with the camouflage bottom mid, so they are just completely unaware of where he's going to be, and that will be the pickup. That will be the capture on bottom mid, and a great camo play from Boo Boo Doo Boo on that one. Cool, calm and collected, this young man.
One thing that was also impressive there during that fight is once he went around the corner there towards the bottom left, he didn't go in for that melee. Some players, they just get a little panicky when it gets to that close slash, you know, a little too close range fight. Some of them start to miss those shots. Some of them just revert back towards the melee, and Boo Boo just played it calm. He said, all right, I'm up. This player's one shot. No need for me to go in this melee and potentially risk losing all my shield or getting killed. So just took his time, got that last headshot. And I think that's something we still see even from the very, very top players is they'll have a significant lead in a fight and somehow will allow that opponent to get within melee range, and sometimes it turns into a trade when it should be a guaranteed kill.
So Ace must have gotten the call that they were okay as far as bottom mid and Nest was concerned, because as Ace was going for that, the other territories were being captured at that moment. So they are going to give up Nest, but still, they're right back in this game, 28-30. And Hitmen, like what we said at the start of the game, right? In a full minute, and there was no points on the board. It's very clear that both of these teams, the homework has certainly been done. And we are now, at this point now, the first lead that Hitmen have had this series in this Stronghold game.
Yeah, it looks like Hitmen are just stepping up and getting the slays. I'm looking at the scoreboard here, and for the first time in an objective game, we actually are really close. It was actually tied for a moment. 21/22 kills for each side, and it reflected that in the actual scoreline as well when both teams were tied around the 30-point mark. So obviously, objective efficiency isn't the problem here for Hitmen. It's just getting those kills. Yeah, and Tox is making it very, very difficult. Camo is going to be up right now, and it will be burned at that moment. So that was burned at around the 7:42 mark. We'll see that pop up in a little bit once again. But Camo really only being a factor that one time that Boo Boo Doo Boo was able to get it, and that's when we started to see Hitmen get back into this game. So taking out Camo, not allowing Tox to be able to take full advantage of that, very well done by Hitmen. Yeah, if you recall too, when Boo Boo had that little bit of a spree, he had a capture spree during that time we got Camo, so that meant that he was just running around the map, reverting stronghold after stronghold, and helping his team get control. And a trip cap once again, but that's going to be a reaction, a reactive cap
because they just did not want to be in that trip cat territory from Hitmen currently. Hitmen, though, now adding points to the board as Snakebite continues to play Snipe 1. Knows that a player is going to be right above him, and he's going to go right in for the challenge and puts the damage in and wins the fight.
Yep,
so,
that's that melee fight I talked about again.
Exactly. Big fight that was necessary for Snakebite to win as he now puts himself in a position to be able to capture bottom mid, and we have Tox on the scoreboard now.
Yeah, Tox, see how long they can hold this one for. I don't foresee them pressuring Yard until Hitman makes a mistake. They're not just going to randomly charge in towards Yard, try to get trip cap. Instead, they're going to do what Hitman do, react to that, potentially get a couple kills, and then capitalize on that trip cap if it presents itself.
Kind of surprised that Demon D didn't think. I mean, he had that player in front of him, but there was also another player in the loop as well. But there you go. So back on the board again, 55, and we could realistically see this go to game 4 if it continues like this. I like what I'm seeing from Hitmen. They're coordinating very well, and they're slaying right there with them. Right now, it is tied in slays, 38-38. So these two teams are neck and neck in this matchup.
Yeah, and Tox usually aren't threatened with this sort of slaying prowess from most of these squads, especially when we talked about before. We had a question mark when it came to a player like Arctic. Arctic's holding his own right now. I mean, he's even in slays against Tox. What the most successful team in Halo 5, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to see that as well. We had some concerns about him at Snakebite, tried to turn that play into something. Granted, though, was cleaned up by Boobadubu. Demon D now on the move on your screen, and he's looking to just try and support Ace. Two players actually are going to be trapped back there, and as a matter of fact, he got okay. So that was a little dicey there. I was going to say you have to clean those up, and luckily he was able to do just that in that instance. And now Tox is having to fight off of the back foot here, losing players. Snakebite with a kill onto Boobadubu as Royal 2 looks over at Nest. And they know that they have him basically backs against the wall. With that double kill, that should lead to a cap bottom mid.
Yep, and unfortunately another member jumps in towards Bomb Center trying to stop that stronghold from being converted. And unfortunately that member,
you gotta give it up.
Yeah, you have to give it up at some point. And I think what's gonna happen now, unless one of these members of Hitman goes huge, you could see that Nest also go in the favor of Tox. Or at least Hitman would have had more control here in the center of the map. That player didn't do it, so at some point you have to understand what the numbers are. Do they have just only one person on the stronghold? Highly unlikely.
Good clear there from Ace, as currently Tox is putting points on the board. Trying to see if anything significant is happening here. And again, right, the slay so close. You have 49 for the blue team, for Hitmen, and 53 for Tox. But so far, though, there's been no cap just yet. Ace on the prowl. He's actually flanking around, seeing if he could get Yard or maybe just kind of attract some attention in his direction here.
Yeah, I was trying to understand that play fully. He must have understood that Tox had full control of center, and instead of just trying to challenge and just give a free kill, he decides to revert over Yard, try to stop that bleeding. Yeah, and that's a very veteran play.
He even put shots on a player, and that player just completely ignored him and just moved on with his life.
Very veteran play, because in most cases, once it gets down to the wire here, when you're down to like this last 30-ish points for each squad, most teams think, oh, we only have one push left, I better panic, I better push right away. But that's not the case. Look how slowly it's ticking up here for Tox. Hitmen right now, they have a chance for 2 good pushes, I would say, as long as they don't allow a trip cap. And they have that luxury now because of Ace. That would have been a trip cap if Ace didn't go over to Yard.
Another camo was burned, by the way, for Hitmen. So while Hitmen were able to make good use of the camouflage that one time with Boobadubu, it really hasn't played much of a factor for Tox, and Tox really haven't cared all that much because they've been doing good work with it.
Oh, and I don't know if I agree with this one, though, from Ace. Ace wanted to obviously commit to Bomb Center and help get that one down. I felt like Ace just had a straight-up 1v1 in Yard. And in a situation like that, where a 1v1 decides that stronghold, when your team's already kind of down, I feel like you have to take it. This is not looking good for Hitman, though. Nope. Only 4 points away for Tox to close this one out. And not just the game, this would be the series.
Yeah, that could very well be it, and it is 100 points. 4 Tox was the lucky number, and that will give them the 3-0 sweep over Hitmen. A very tough matchup that Hitmen brought to them in Game 3, Strongholds Plaza. They had the lead for a brief moment, but ultimately it would be the two-time world champions, in Tox, that come out with the victory into 3-0. And granted, I think a lot of folks on the desk at home here, the casters, everyone felt like it was going to be a 3-0 in favor of Tox, but you know what? I had a little bit more faith, and I think faith was slightly restored in Hitmen in that Plaza Strongholds game, despite them
Game
losing
2 and 3.
it.
Game 2 and 3 were
game 2
great
as well.
games.
Game 2 as well.
So yeah, I think based on game 1, I was like, this is kind of a one-sided affair. You could argue either way, whether it was a consistent cap that Hitmen got on that Coliseum flag, or maybe just lucky timing / lucky shots. Clearly, it was a consistent time. I mean, I felt like they showed and proved themselves through the second half of that series. You know, game 2 and game 3 were strong shows from Hitmen. But anytime you get 3-0'd, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to be like, yeah, you had a great game. You know, game 2 and 3. It's like you still lost, unfortunately.
You know, still held that L.
But there is some, you know, they should take something away from that. They should understand, like, all right, don't get down too much. What they're doing is working. I mean, losing to a well-practiced Tox and not getting dominated, especially those games 2 and 3, like, those were strong shows in game 2 and 3, and I feel like if they play like that against other squads, they're going to see a lot of success.
Yeah, there were some good moments there for Hitmen, without a doubt, but it will be Tox who will get the 3-0 sweep over the Hitmen. But for now, we're going to send it over to Lottie and the rest of the desk to break it all down. Thoughts on that matchup, fellas?
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Mikwin is also joining me on the desk. So lovely to have you here. I haven't got a caster with me this time, but I've got a fellow player. Now, you are on Renegades. Good run so far for you guys, but I want to get your verdict on this game we've just seen. Well, Tox obviously looking very good, and it was expected. What did you think of the matchup?
I mean, you know, it's Tox being Tox. Best team in Halo 5 ever. I mean, Dave said it on the cast, like, they're definitely a dynasty. Hitmen played well, though. I think that also what Dave just said was very accurate. Being a new team, brand new, and not getting absolutely dominated by a team like Tox is, I mean, it still sucks to get 3-0'd, but it's not terrible. It's not as bad as it could have been.
It was entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Definitely. Right, let's have a look at map 1. Clutch, what did you make of map 1?
Map 1, we did have to replay it, but when we did replay it, we saw an absolute dominant performance from Frosty and the boys. He got a hold of the snipe here towards the beginning of it and ends up almost going for one of the sickest overkills I've seen at a tournament. Everybody was playing great. This is the bread and butter of Tox's gameplay right here. I mean, Coliseum CTF, how many times have we seen them at tournaments just going off on this game type, playing it to a perfection? I mean, there wasn't a lot Hitman was going to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that we've seen actually kind of beat them on that was a former version of Splice, you know, kind of going back to Atlanta and, of course, how dominant they've been. But this was the first real series that we've seen today where there's actually competition between these two teams. There were 2 games that Hitmen were capable of winning, but I hope they hold their heads up high, because going up against the likes of Tox, which might very well be the best team here this weekend, is no easy feat here. So they did a fantastic job proving that they are still contenders here. Maybe not coming out for first place, but you can make it to the finals, and to break top 4 in and of itself is a huge accomplishment.
Gentlemen, next up we had Slayer on Refuge. Now, I absolutely love this map. It's a remake, of course, of a fan favorite. Now, Mikwin, I love you sniping. It's my favorite thing to watch. How important is it with this dual sniper map, is it to get these power weapons?
Obviously very important. Mostly at the beginning of the game, you're going to see a little bit of a slower play, and then if you see the other team's sniper get picked, that turns into the 2 sniper. And then usually if a team like Tox or like any top 4 team gets 2 snipers, you're going to see them run away with the game. So Hitman did a really good job this game of not allowing that to happen, and that's what kept it close. But yeah, the snipes are the #1 priority.
Elamite, what did you make of Hitmen here? Obviously, Tox is a very difficult one to face, and it's a brand new map for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. And I think a lot of these players, they go back to the Halo 2 and Halo 3 days. You know, these guys have been competing for a long time. So, you know, it's not like it's a new map and I'm going to just give it over to Tox. These guys have experience on it. But, you know, kind of goes back to my previous point here. Everyone, and if you didn't predict Tox to win, then you're just delusional in the game. You know, a lot of these guys have been out of the scene for quite some time. None of them have broken top 4. And, you know, whoever knows how long. I think Ace is the last one to do it.
Boo Boo. Atlanta won the tournament.
Atlanta, right. Yes, and then Ace did it on Liquid and one of them as well. So either way, you're looking at teams that lucky to break into the top 4, going up with teams that hasn't placed lower than 2nd.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously the fact that they were able to keep those games so close, they even put a flag in on that Coliseum. we've seen players be able to take over games. I brought it up when the Straight Stick was playing earlier. We've seen him. You can go on these crazy sprees. You've done it a handful of times yourself. You can literally take over a game, and that's what we saw Frosty do in that closeout game number 1. The game number 2, a close one. Weren't able to close it out, but you're talking about 3 years of practice and experience versus one of the newest rosters we have here. And of course, game number 3, they actually had a lead against Tox for a portion of that game.
Let's take a look at map number 3, actually, as we're talking about it. Carry on, Elamite, that you're doing a fantastic job.